For those of you who have ever planted a garden, for those of you who have ever participated or seen one who has enjoyed, planted, worked in their garden, what do you see? And what do you see happening on the inside? There are also so many opportunities to observe happenings, experiences in which there is no other choice but than to wait, than to let go, than to just be empty as to whether creation will occur or not. And also in doing that, you're not expecting that it doesn't happen, that creation doesn't occur. You're just empty to it, or you're expecting it. So let's go to the idea of the garden. When one plants a garden, they cultivate the ground. They cultivate the ground, they make sure that the nutrients are there for the plants that they are intending to grow, or they just expect that the nutrients are there for the plants that they are intending to grow. Very similar to your mind and body. Is your mind and body of the nature? Are you expressing the nature from your mind and body that is conducive to the growth of the ideas that you intend, of your actual desires? Are they in alignment with your desires, or are they conflicting with your desires? Are they nutrients and minerals that are healthy for your desires, or is the ground toxic and unfertile for your actual desires? Are you being in a way that creates relationship, or are you being in a way that breaks relationship, destroys relationship, that type of thing? So you cultivate the ground, expecting the nutrients and minerals to be there, adding maybe fertilizer and that type thing to add nutrients to optimize the ground. And then you sow the seeds. Some seeds you dig holes and you put them in the ground. Some seeds you build up the ground and place the seed in it. There are various techniques to properly sow a seed, but you are sowing a seed nonetheless. Taking the time to be clear on the type of seed that you intend to sow, and sowing that seed, focusing to sow that seed correctly and properly, is the same as sowing an idea. What is the idea that you intend to express? How clear are you on the idea of relationship, or successful business, or a successful trip to the store? What is the idea that you are sowing, and are you clear on the details? This is the sowing of the seed. Now, once you have cultivated the ground and you have sown, you have properly prepared the ground and you have sown the seeds, next is the cultivation of the ground. Before the weeds will come, those ideas that conflict with your actual desire, those ideas, those beliefs that actually resist or conflict or stand in opposition of that which you are actually desiring or intending will come. They will be the evidence of your true conditioning. Anything within you already that conflicts, anything that you might observe, friends, family, media, things that conflict with your intention. You desire a beautiful relationship, but you hear on the radios, you see on your television screens, broken relationships, evidence of infidelity, all of these things. And because of the influx of material, you hear conversations of family members who have experienced broken relationships and who have suffered and had traumatic experience as a result. You hear all of these things, and all of this material going into your system actually conflicts with what you're actually desiring. But if you begin to believe that material, the weeds, then dominant ideas based on that material will be sown into you, and it will be your experience versus your desire. So you have to cultivate the ground. You have to continue to remove the weeds, which may in a sense be you removing your attention from that which is evidence of the opposite of that which you are desiring to create. Separate yourself from any conversations. Separate yourself from any material that conflicts with your actual intended desire. Do not allow it into your system that it might conflict with the idea that you have sown. This is the cultivating of the weeds. Next is just the expectation that the seed will grow. You have an expectation when you have a garden that the seed will grow. You do not dig the seed up to see if it's still there. There's just an expectation that it will grow, and you're looking for it. You're peeking. You're looking, you're checking the ground, you're looking for evidence of growth. You're looking for that first sign of the seedling breaking the surface of the ground. You're expecting it to happen, and you're looking for it intently and with excitement and joy and love. You're looking for the seed to grow. This is a piece that you're missing. Many of you are missing. You're desiring beautiful relationship or any other successful, positive experience. You've sown the idea, you've created the ground, you're cultivating the weeds, but you're not expecting, you're not looking for, in your observation, you're not peeking for the evidence of your seed growing, of your seed materializing as experience. And it will begin to, in alignment with your expectation. It will begin to, in alignment with where you're placing your attention. And for a time, you're placing your attention on the idea. You're expecting of the idea. You're sowing love, feeling love and excitement toward the idea until you begin to see evidence of it on approach in your experience. And when that begins to happen, the fire of expectation should begin to increase. The fire of expectation, the love of the experience should begin to increase. That energy that you're sowing into the seed idea should begin to increase when you see evidence of it on approach. That is the same as that plant breaking the ground and beginning to grow, beginning to develop, and you see the leaves and you see the strength of the stalk, and you know that the roots are established. And you may sprinkle a little fertilizer. You may give it a little water if it hasn't received any rain. And you're doing all of the things to nourish the idea, all of the while continuing to remove the weeds that may take the nutrients that you are providing for the seed, the actual intention that you desire to create. And as that idea grows and expands, it will mature. It will mature into a full-grown plant, a full-grown specimen from the seed that you have sown. And the maturing of an idea is the actual experience. The experience manifests, the collaborative components have come forth in support of you to materialize the experience full-blown. And at maturity, there will be seeds for a next experience. Just as there are seeds on the plant, when it produces fruit, whether it's a flower or a fruit tree or a vegetable, there are seeds that are produced in the fruit of the mature plant that allows you to sow and grow and expand the presence of that idea or the presence of that vegetable or fruit or plant that has grown, that it might expand, that it might begin to flourish and multiply. Same thing happens with the life experience. The multiplying is anyone and anything that is in contact with you, that sees the experience, that witnesses the experience. The idea gets sown inside of them. The potential of that experience gets sown inside of everyone that knows. And the potential gets sown inside of everyone who you communicate to about the experience. You're sowing the idea, you're sowing seeds of that experience into them, negative or positive, traumatic or exciting. You're sowing seeds based on the experience that you have had. Same scenario, same thing, just a different situation, different scenario, same as a seed growing into a full mature plant producing fruit with seeds that are capable of being sown and having creating a multiplying effect of that single plant, that single seed that was sown in the initial. Same thing happens with your experience. The creation of experience allows for the multiplying of that experience when the seeds are sown either through observation or communication by you. But you can witness the process of creation, the exact same process of creation in a garden. When you observe one who has a garden, cultivates the ground, sows the seed, cultivates the weeds from that garden, and with expectation, free of resistance, free of any inner conflict, with expectation, expects the seeds to germinate and grow. It's the exact same thing when you are establishing a new idea, when you are intending to create an experience. It's what's happening now in the experiences that you are creating around yourself, in the experiences that you are creating in your life, whether wanted or unwanted. It's the exact same thing that's happening now. And we suggest that you look into your history and see how you have done that very thing. Maybe the seed of beautiful relationship was sown into you. Maybe the seed of broken relationship was sown into you. Notice how the seed was sown and how the ground of low vibration was fertile ground for that seed. The ground of high vibration is not fertile ground for a broken relationship, for dis-ease, for consistent anger, frustration, and stress. High frequency is not fertile ground for those ideas. But if the idea has flourished within you, then you have fertile ground for that idea. Notice how you have expected it in your thought patterns. You are constantly entertaining thought patterns of certain types of relationships, certain types of experiences, and that is your expecting. That is your expecting. It's also your intending. All of these things you are doing that are cultivating the seeds. Fertilizing the ground. Being a perfect garden, a perfect location for the growth and expansion of those particular types of seeds. And in your not wanting it to happen, in your fighting against an idea, you're actually cultivating that idea. You're actually fueling and fertilizing that idea by continually entertaining it in your thought patterns. That's the fuel. That's the fertilizer for that idea. You're giving it energy. You're giving it your attention constantly. You can do the exact same thing in the direction of an experience you actually desire. Think about these things. Think about this idea. Think about this, which we have communicated to you today. Notice how you have been the perfect gardener for your experience to this point. And notice how you can take the details of creation that can be seen when observing one who is a gardener and apply it directly to your life in the direction of experiences that you actually desire, in the direction of intentions you actually desire to see manifest as experience.